What is up, everybody? I just want to tune in real quick, make sure everything is working properly, that you can hear me. I'm going to assume yes. We're live now on Facebook and YouTube. I'm going to assume yes. Yeah, baby. All right. Hello, everybody. I am the liberated outcast, Cameron Jewell, here to just share with you, doing that thing that I do where I get on live when I'm uncomfortable, when I don't want to. And I'm just going to speak. I don't have anything pre-written today. I'm not reading from anything. It is just me. I've had a lot of things going on, a lot on my heart that I want to share. I believe I titled this one God, Church, and Witches, or Witchcraft. And I want to speak on that. I wasn't going to speak on my experience that I had at Compassion Church here in St. Augustine. It's a newer church. I wasn't going to speak on it, but I've changed my mind and I've decided to do so. And all I'm going to do is share with you the experiences that I had there and what I am learning from them. No matter how anxious it might make me. I've been thinking about this for days because I didn't want to record it from a place of anger, even if that is justified anger or even righteous anger. I like to process that type of energy before I speak on it. So then this morning we took the dogs to one of my favorite stretch of woods here in St. Augustine and walked them, and I just prayed about it, and I'm going to talk about it. So last year, probably October, November, after Brooklyn died, my grandfather, after just a whole bunch of stuff went down, I decided to seek Jesus. He actually came to me and through this photo, and he's always been with me, always. But there was a lot of distance between he and I because of religion, because of what Western Christianity has done in his name. But I was able to recognize that the resistance I was feeling last year to draw near to Jesus, to Yeshua, to Yahweh, to whatever name we want to put on that entity, that resistance, I was like, what's trying to keep me from him? There must be something here for me. So I followed it. Then I decided to go to a church, to find a church. And that's when I had found Compassion off of US 1, a newer church. And I really liked what it seemed to represent on the surface. You know, they say that they have a no mask mentality, that they're here to serve the least, the last, and the lost. And I went. And I was feeling some strange energy at first, but I was just like, nope, that's me. That's me. I'm uncomfortable. And maybe something in my spirit is trying to keep me, not from my spirit, but trying to keep me from going here. So I just kept showing up, you guys. And I went to that church for over 2 months. I tithed over 10% of what I would make each week because that's what I thought I was supposed to do. I invited so many people. And a lot of my friends on here who have been with me for years were looking at me kind of funny, like, hey, Cam, what's going on? You know, because a lot of people that I rock with have religious trauma because of the way that they are treated by religious people. And I was like, nah, not this church, you guys. Not this church. And well, as time went on, man, there were some weird experiences. One of the things that hurt me the most, though, is how hard I was trying to get involved. I was really trying to get involved, you guys. I filled out a slip 2 different times to put it in to tell them, hey, I'm here. I'd like to volunteer. And then one day I took the preacher to the side. I said, hey, man, I love coming here. I love inviting my friends, and I would like to get involved because every service they stand up there and ask for people to get involved, to volunteer. So I did. I said, hey, man, whatever you want me to do, you know, I can do what you would like me to do, or I can teach classes, and here are all the things I'm already doing in the community. I'm really good at community outreach. I'm really good at getting people together because that's the truth. And then same day, I take his wife to the side. I tell her the same thing. And then I tell them both that I'm going to send you messages, right? So I send them both a message in the group chat that we had already been speaking in, and sent them my website, the Foraging for Friends, the classes, all of the things, and said, hey, I'm willing to do this or whatever it is that you would like me to do. Wasn't even acknowledged. Was not even acknowledged. Not a, hey, thanks for showing interest. Hey, nothing. Nothing. So that is over a 2-month period. All of those different attempts, turning in the slips, sending the messages, taking them to the side in person, nothing, you guys. And I was hurt. I was feeling rejected, but I was like, I was trying to justify it in my head, like, okay, maybe I'm just supposed to come here and receive the word. Maybe I'm just supposed to come here and receive. Maybe I already do enough. And that wasn't the case, you guys. That wasn't the case. Even now, there's this resistance I'm feeling of even speaking out about it. But I know that I need to, because things like this happen all of the time. These churches erect themselves and claim to serve the least, the last, and the lost. But almost every time, it really turns into this little cliquey thing where it's these cliques in the church, and you come in as an outsider and you are treated as an outsider. And it honestly sometimes is one of God's angels, one of God's favorites, that these people are treating like outcasts, like rejects. And I'm not talking about myself. I saw it happen in that same church with others. And who I'm thinking about and speaking on, I truly believe is an earth angel that was mistreated in this place that claims to carry the love of Jesus Christ. And it happens all of the time. And I'm over it. But then something else happened. And there was this man that came to me from that place and asked for my help with medicine. And me being me, man, I hooked him up. I gave him so much medicine, came to the house, got it for him and his kids. And then the next day came and saw me at the farmer's market, and then realized that I had a boyfriend, and all the energy shifted. Really crazy. Didn't answer my text. Hey, how's the medicine treating you? When we would see each other at church, it was a strange energy. And I'm not ignorant. Energy is my first language. And this whole experience with this church has just solidified that for me even further, that I can trust my intuition. I can stop blaming myself when the energy feels off, because I show up with an open heart, a full heart, and a hydrated body, and a mind ready to receive and to learn. And so anyways, come to find out, months later, I find out that it was said that the medicine made him sick, and that he thinks that there was some witchcraft on it. And you guys, that made me so sick to my stomach. And then not only was that not brought to me, even though I was asking, hey, how's the medicine treating you? Not only was it not brought to me, but it was talked about behind my back to other people, that they felt like the medicine had witchcraft on it. Somebody who was coming into your church, bringing people, tithing, offering a helping hand, somebody that you came to and asked for help, then went out of their way to help you. But now is a witch. Why? Because you had some ulterior motives that you couldn't follow through on? Right, Angie? I'm telling you, Angie, I'm really upset about it. And so now I want to talk about the word witch. I want to talk about that word because I feel like that is one of the most derogatory terms that there is. And there are many women who use that word, call themselves witches, as if it is a term of endearment. And I want to make something very clear when it comes to that word. Women never gave themselves that name, never gave themselves that title. Men who brutally murdered these women, burned them alive. Many women tortured for extended amounts of time because of that word. Women who were labeled witches and burned alive, most of the time because they were outspoken, had their own opinions, or were able to help people heal with what God gave us to heal. So I don't play around when it comes to the word witch or witchcraft. I'm not playing. I equate it to the N word. Do you understand how many women, tens of thousands of women, were murdered because of that name? You've got women calling themselves that like it's cute, and you've got men calling women that because of whatever the fuck. Okay? Angie said after they were raped too, I'm sure. Yeah. So that really upset me, you guys. And it also upset me. I don't know why I was rejected at that church, because nobody had the integrity to come to me and let me know what they were thinking. I did one day pull the pastor to the side because he was in part of his sermon. He used having the gallbladder removed as an example, as if that was just okay. And I brought him to the side and I was like, "Hey, sir, I love your church. I love your service." I was like, it's just on my heart because the sermon that day was about knowing your lane and staying in your lane. And I told him, I said, when it comes to the body, that's my lane. And God gave us our gallbladders for a reason, and we need them. And he just said some things really fast and then walked off and went and talked to somebody else. And then after that, it was just a weird energy. I wasn't greeted the same. Like I said, it was after that I pulled the pastor and his wife to the side separately and then sent them both messages asking to help without any acknowledgement whatsoever. So I decided at first, I was just like, see, this is why I don't go to church. This is why I don't do it. But no, I know that calling is in my heart for a reason. And just because I'm rejected by these false Christians, these false churches. All right. And like I said, it really blows my mind that this whole churches thing was, we have a no mask mentality, but if you show up authentically, asking real questions, just being you, I think their masks slipped off, but I do think they're wearing them. And so I went to a different church yesterday, and I went to a Mormon church, and I love Mormons. They have been coming to my house for a very long time. And we spend a lot of time together, men, women. I've made them food, tea. They've come to my gathering. So I decided, I'm going to go to this church. And I went yesterday, and God's honest review, God's honest opinion. The service itself was really boring. The music, the worship, the spirit of worship was just really low. But what I appreciated about this church was how, so I'm looking at the comments here too. What I appreciate about this church is, one, the pastors aren't paid. Two, they did not pass out around a tithing basket. They did not ask for money. The pastors, the people who speak, volunteer their time. And then people from the congregation get to go up there and share. And then after the first hour, after the music and the people share, then there's a second hour. And I guess it changes. Yesterday, it was the men go with the men and the women go with the women. And then they have an interactive hour together where people get to ask questions and share their thoughts. And I love that. I'm so tired of going into these buildings that claim to represent Christ Jesus, that pass around baskets and ask for your money, but the moment you offer your opinion, you're rejected. And I really loved that. I really did. And I'm not sure, I could, if I wanted to convert to a religion, I could do it, and I would be so good at it, whatever it was. I would do it with my whole heart, my whole soul. I would be devout. And I'm checking the Mormons out because they, their values, they love Jesus Christ. They love family. They are not afraid to put themselves out there and go talk to strangers about Jesus Christ. And I really appreciate that. And I've never once felt judged by these people. Literally once, two of the women came to one of my Sisters of Sovereignty gatherings and sat in a circle with us women with candles that most people would probably label witchcraft. And they didn't. They had open minds and open hearts, and they were so kind to us. And I really appreciated that. Who's here watching? Chime in. We're just hanging out. I'm going to sip my coffee. Again, you guys, I didn't write anything out. I just came on here to share from my heart. And I wasn't going to speak on how I was treated at Compassion. But then when I found out that the term witch or witchcraft was used in regards to me, no, I'm not going to be quiet. First of all, I am blessed enough to be able to use my voice without being burned alive. And me using my voice is speaking up for each and every woman that was burned alive for using hers. And also helping to speak up. I'm not the only woman out here that's been, and I'm not, I'm because I'm not clear on that situation, because it wasn't brought to me and spoken to me about it. I had to hear about it. I'm not going to say that he accused me of being a witch, but I do know that he had fear of my medicine having witchcraft on it and did not come and speak to me, but rather spoke about me. And then what? Did he throw away the medicine? Like, what happened to the medicine? That's what really got me. Because all of you who know me, you know that I pour my everything into what I do. I pour my heart and soul into the medicine. And if you're not going to take it, at least give it back. Okay. Angie said, I found that I feel very judged and out of place in most churches. I haven't found the right one either. Angie, you know what I'm thinking about? I'm thinking about just starting hey, on Sundays or whatever day of the week we want, we all meet up at a kind of like the Foraging for Friends, but different. We meet up at a trail and we walk the trail and we all get together and talk about what Jesus and God has done in our lives and how we can share that love of God in the real world. And I'm going to repeat that just so I can clip it up later. I am going to start a gathering where we meet in the woods, all of us who have that love of God, that love of Christ Jesus inside of us, and we walk and talk and we share about how that love of God has transformed us and how we can take that love of God and share it with the rest of the world, because that's what Jesus wanted us to do. He said to love God with all of your heart and to love your neighbor as you love yourself. Bottom line. Angie said, so I was thinking that you need to start your own church. Community Nourishment is a church. It is a 501c3 ministry. I just have to do more with it, but I didn't want to do that. I don't want to go the traditional route. I'm not interested in having a building for people to come sit down and me talk at them and take their money. I'm not doing that. But what I am about and that I've been doing is gathering people outside with things that we love, things that connect us to the earth and to each other more deeply. And I guess it's just time to take that to the next level. I really appreciated how all of the offerings that the Mormon church has, and they did not ask for $1, you guys. They work. They have jobs. I will do raffles and stuff to raise money for the classes and things like that, but I work my butt off for every dollar that comes through Community Nourishment. And if you don't know, over 80% of the money that comes back goes right back into it. I pay for my bills and my food and my education. That's it. Angie said natural world connection. Yes, because that is the church. God gave us this earth to be stewards of. We are meant to be stewards of this earth. All right. I don't believe for a second we are meant to gather together in some building and again be talked at. That was another thing I really appreciated, how at the Mormon church, members of the Congress got to get up and share their connection with God, their stories, their experiences. And then afterwards, they all get together and talk. Like, that's it right there. All right. So tired of these men in the pulpits preaching at you. But then the moment you ask them questions, they get upset. You're rejected. You're an outcast now because you have questions. Like, nobody has the authority to just get up there and speak the word of God without being questioned. Nobody. And something else that I have, it was on my mind and heart all day yesterday. You just can't tell me. Nothing else makes sense. The second coming of Jesus Christ is through us, through each and every one of us. And this control system wants you to believe that it's somebody coming out of the sky to save you, wants you to hand every ounce of your power away and wait for something that's not going to come. You want Jesus Christ to come. You want the love of Jesus to come and to save us from what is going on this earth. It needs to come through you. You've got to hydrate your body. You've got to eat real food. You've got to open your heart to God and trust that he's going to come through. And then you share what comes through with the world, no matter what. And that's that. And that's okay if people don't believe me. I don't care. While you're sitting around waiting for somebody, I'm going to be out there doing what Jesus Christ told us to do. And I do believe that my life is a reflection of the power of God and the love of God that flows through when you put your whole heart and soul into God. My life reflects that. It gets hard sometimes. Oh God, it gets hard sometimes. Angie, I know you know. It gets so hard because we do dwell. This realm that we live in, darkness seems to be ruling it. But there's a reason that we are here. There's a reason why that light and love of God is put into our hearts to shine into this realm. But again, that darkness doesn't want to be exposed, so it will try. The enemy is real. Demons are real. And witchcraft, the essence of it, people using powers and energies for malice to hurt and harm people, that is real. That is real. But that word, it needs a different word, because again, that word was used to murder women. Thank you, Angie. I love you. Who else is here with us? So that's it. We're gonna start some. I don't want to call it church though. I don't want to call it church, unless we call it the real church, right? Real medicine, the real church, because the this planet, this earth that God gave us, that is the real church. And I'm very excited for all of us to start gathering and walking on the earth, the real church, and sharing about the love of God. So I think that's it. That's it. I think I'm gonna repeat myself again just to be able to get the clip. But when it comes to the word witch, it is not a term of endearment. That word was created as an excuse to hunt down and brutally murder women. Women never gave themselves the name witch. It was given to them by men who despised them for speaking their mind, for having their own mind, and for having the gifts that God gave them to help people heal. And something that also really confuses me is that the same people that will point their fingers and call that witchcraft are also symbolically eating flesh and drinking blood. I watched that same man who disrespected me and my medicine that I gave him freely, which he asked for, symbolically eat flesh and drink blood. But because your book says that's okay, because your religion, your doctrine, your programming says that that's of God, that's okay, huh? But if somebody comes in wearing bones and knowing how to use plants, that's different because some man didn't write it down in your book, right? The nature church. I think I'm going to call it the real church, Angie. I think I'm going to call it the real church. All right, everybody. Marcos, ¿tú todavía mira? No? Okay, bien. I think I'm going to get off of here now. I might come on later. Wanted to get that off my chest, and I did. And yeah, I feel anxious about it. I feel like, and I don't think it's of God. I think it's the enemy telling me, oh, you shouldn't be sharing your experience. You shouldn't be talking about the way they treated you in that church. That's not right. And I do honestly believe in going to the church, going to the people and speaking to them about it. And but I do believe that they had that opportunity. I tried so hard to get involved, to be a part of it, and it is a clique. You can tell who's part of the family and who's not. You can tell. And had I been shown an ounce of respect or even acknowledged in the tiniest bit for my efforts of trying to help what it is that they claim to believe in and what they claim to be building, I would have done that. But instead, I was talked about behind my back. Instead, I was rejected and ignored. So, no, I'm not going to be quiet. This is just the beginning of me speaking out about it. And I want it to be known. I know I'm not the only one that really truly carries that love of God in their heart that goes into these buildings that claim to represent Jesus Christ that are rejected. And the time is up. Time is up. It is time for these false Christians, these false religions, these false walls to crumble. And the more of us that stand up and speak up and expose what is dwelling behind those walls, the quicker that will come. Because it's really dangerous for people who feel the urge to draw near to Jesus, to go into these places because that's what they're told to do. You want to draw near to Jesus, go to church. So you think you find a good church that's going to love you, just to find that demons dwell in there. Not cool. Someone had mentioned they were on a demon hunt. What? What? You are a church? Asking demons need love too. I think that there's something very wrong with people in the church searching for demons. All right? For any reason other than to love them. Because anybody walking around here acting as if they don't have the same capacity in them for that darkness, like you don't have your own demons, you're a liar. And instead of seeking out demons to expose them, seek them out to love them. Like I said, that first like 6 weeks that I was feeling the rejection, I was feeling it. I was blaming myself and it didn't matter. Like, I understand nobody's perfect. This church isn't perfect, but their message seems to be real and I want to be involved. No, JB, I don't know who you are, but I love you too. Who is that? I want to repeat that because I think it's worth repeating. Demons need love too. Nobody is so righteous that you're too good to deal with the demons. If you claim to be a disciple of Jesus Christ, it is your responsibility, your duty to seek out demons, to love them, cast them down to hell as if you've never had your own demons. Good thing you weren't cast down to hell. Instead, somewhere, somehow, love found you. Jesus forgave you. You are forgiven. And unless you are seeking out demons to love them, you need to sit down. I'll share a story with you guys. I've tried DMT one time in my whole life, and the experience was awesome. And what the experience was I did it, and then boom, all of a sudden I could see me. I'm a little girl, and I'm underneath the table with a lamp in a corner, and all you can see is the lamp is casting a shadow, and you can't see much other than me under the table, scared. And I was trying, hey, come out, come out. And the little girl didn't want to come out. I didn't want to come out. But some way, somehow, I coaxed the little girl. And then all of a sudden, the whole environment changes and we're walking. And it's all white and kind of like a dome. And there was nothing there. But as we're walking, I was telling the little girl is clutched to my leg. She's not letting go. And I said, hey, it's okay. Look, I said, this is your world now. You get to create what you want. And as we were walking, we're like, look, we have gardens over here, and gardens would pop up. And look at these flowers over here, and flowers would pop up. And look at these animals over here. A little girl with each flower and each garden, each thing that popped up, she would loosen her grip on my leg a little bit and look around. So then it got to the point where she wasn't even holding onto my leg, and we were just walking. And then all of a sudden, in the dome above us, a hole opened and a black cloud came out. And it scared the little girl. She grabbed my leg again and she was holding on. And I said, hey, 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 it's okay. You don't have to be scared of that. Listen. And we went and we sat on this rock and we invited the black cloud over. And we said, and the black cloud did, it floated over to us. And I said, look, this isn't bad. Darkness needs love too. And if we show it love, it will be transformed. And that's what we did. And then right before our eyes, that black cloud transformed into something else, like light. And it was like, I could cry right now. It was so beautiful. And I truly believe that is when you carry that love of Christ in your heart, your job is to go and to love. That is it. Not to condemn, not to point fingers, and definitely not to hunt down demons. All right? You are to go love. Demons need love too. And I get it. I've been there, especially in my 20s. I was so fired up in my 20s. I was ready to expose it all. So I get it, but what I did not do during that time was point fingers at individuals and accuse them. I did not speak behind people's backs and try to paint a picture of what they were not. I spoke truth to what was going on, that people were being affected and hurt on a mass scale. And I spoke to that. But speaking poorly about people behind their backs, especially people that are just coming in and trying to love and be good to you, that's disgusting. That's disgusting. And I know that I have to find it in my heart to love that too, And that is, somebody said, oh, thank you. Somebody told me the other day that, having that love of Christ Jesus means that you don't react anymore. You don't respond. And this is a thought that I've had too. I think that Jesus, this picture of Jesus has been made where he was a perfect man who could do no wrong. And I think that is false. I believe that Jesus Christ was a human being. And not only was he a human being, but he said that we can do everything he did and better. But somewhere along the line, the church has created this image of a perfect man to make it seem unobtainable. No, you can't be like Jesus. He was perfect. If we can't be like Jesus, then why did he tell us we can do everything he did and better? Thank you, Angie. Angie said bullshit. He flipped those tables. He sure did. So I'm not going to be gaslit when my feelings are hurt by churches, by organizations who claim to represent Jesus Christ, but then yet reject those who carry that love in their heart. I'm not going to do it. And I'm not going to be gaslit into being quiet. Like, oh, Jesus wouldn't have said anything. He would have just kept loving. No. What is that Chosen series? I've heard about it twice now, where there's a scene in there where he is literally making his whip, the whip that he took into these buildings, into these environments. I want to repeat that again. I believe that the churches have created a perfect image of Jesus to make us think that what Jesus was is unobtainable for us, but it's not. He said that we can do everything he did and better. And I'm not going to believe for a second that Jesus didn't feel emotion, that Jesus didn't feel anger or sadness or fear. We all know he did. He just was able, he did the work to cultivate the ability to resist those things as they came up. But that doesn't just magically happen overnight. It happens with practice, with trial, with error. It happens when you have that love of God in your heart and you want to be better. You want to love. You want to take all the darkness the world throws at you and transmute it into love and give it back. You have to have that desire, that love of God first and foremost. And that's what Jesus had. He had that love of God in his heart and complete, utter faith in his Father God. And that is why he was able to do what he did. And that is why we are able to do what he did. We just have to have that faith, and it's hard because the devil runs this realm and everything around you is saying something different. And then you've got the churches where people go to find this love that are shaming you, guilting you, making you feel fear, that are rejecting you. But that time is ending, you guys. That is. And the more of us that really got that fire in our heart, that have the cojones to stand up and share it, we're so instrumental to that shift. We really are. And the shift is here. I don't know if I've ever shared, but the theory that I have is, so everything is energy. Everything, point blank, period. Can't deny it. And energies have frequencies, and frequencies have characteristics. And lower frequencies are heavy, dense, all right? And the majority, and this is the world, the majority of humanity tends to be in these lower frequencies: fear, guilt, shame, war, all right? But those of us, like Jesus was said to have a frequency of 1,000. Those lower frequencies are 300 and under. And then you start to go up. Even business is like 400, love 500, unconditional love 600, and it goes up. For a long time, the majority of humanity has been in those lower, denser frequencies, and it's been holding us down, holding us back, right? It's easier to pull energy down than it is to lift energy up. So the more people that work on themselves, hydrate their bodies, mineralize their systems, get that electrical current going, the more of us that rise into these higher frequencies, the once that energy starts to lift, the shift is going to be like this. And that could be that heaven and hell concept. Like a lot of different religions and beliefs and cultures believe in that. And so the more of us that, again, we've got to keep our frequencies high. We've got to nourish our bodies. All right. I say this a lot and I want to say it again. We are hydroelectric beings, water and electricity. And that water and electricity creates a current, and that current flows through us. And then that current becomes magnetic and can attract and repel. And the thing is minerals are like the spark plugs that keep that electrical current going. It is so important. And I think that systematically we have been stripped of minerals. Systematically we have been inflamed, poisoned, intoxicated to keep, because when we have that current flowing through us and it's strong, we can attract whatever we want, and whatever's not meant for us gets repelled away. God, I love that. Somebody sent me A friend of mine sent me a screenshot a couple months ago of a local herbalist that was using my words verbatim. And she was like, look, this girl's literally using your exact words. And I want to say that I am so touched when people do that. I am so flattered when people copy me. And if you would have asked me this like 5 years ago, it would have been a little different. My ego probably would have been a little hurt. I would have wanted the credit, but God has shown me it's not about getting the credit. This is good information. The truth needs to be shared. It doesn't matter who's sharing it. Who am I to think that I'm supposed to be the truth bearer? I'm not. I'm here to reach the people I'm going to reach, and they're going to reach people that I couldn't reach. So I don't mind anymore. I see it all of the time. People copying me verbatim, taking my formulas, making them, calling it theirs, and giving it to other people. And I am honored to be a part of that. Every soul that they touch, every life that they touch, every person that they help, I'm going to be a little piece of that. And I'm grateful for that. Man, I'm getting some really good clips in this one. Thanks for joining me. I do enjoy making content. I really do. I don't care if one person watches it or 1,000 people watch it. I get joy out of this. What else do I want to say today? I think that might be it. How long have we been on here? 36 minutes. Not too shabby. I will never ever forget you. Who are you? JBWH3WE. What is your name? Shockwaves. Ooh, Angie? I gotta write that down. Shockwaves. What I'm thinking when you say shockwaves, Angie, I think of that electrical current and the power, and like when we like emit that, you know? Oh, I'm definitely going to be using that for something. Baby, that's what it is when people are copying me. It's the shockwaves. It is that energy. I don't know what I'm going to do with that word yet, but it hit me good. So shock waves. What's today's date? The 26th? I'm going to write it really big. Shock waves. Permanent secret admirer. Permanent. Aw. I'm going live on YouTube right now too, so I can see the comments from both. Fine then. Be a secret. Ripple effect. Oh, Angie, keep it coming, Angie. What else you got, girl? All right, Angie, you just inspired me, so I'm gonna say this so I can cut it up later. Ripple effect. Oh, now I feel a little self-conscious. No, but I like that. The ripple effect. What could the ripple effect be? The ripple effect is when your energy is so potent, so strong that people want it. So people start to emanate your energy. They draw from it, copy it, emanate it. That could be the ripple effect. Your energy making waves out there, shock waves. That was good, Angie. What else you got? I've been copied and shunned so many times. It's insane. You know, that shunning part. It's like, listen, if you're going to copy someone, do it with confidence. Don't hide, because that's what it is. A lot of people, they're carrying guilt or shame or embarrassment. So then you're rejected. Something I have learned, especially I don't like to use this term very often, but I've had 2 experiences with real life narcissists. One was a man, one was a woman. And something I've noticed from behavior that could be called narcissism is that when people hurt you, and those people don't have enough integrity, enough self-respect to admit to what they have done wrong, they can't look at you because you remind them of the truth. So they reject you because they don't want to see the truth. Rejection can hurt, man. And let me tell you, authenticity is very rare. Okay. And the people who truly do embody authenticity, who are themselves, we are mirrors back to the world. And you being authentic and knowing who you are and loving who you are, so you being you will mirror back to people that they're not loving themselves. They're not being themselves. And it's very few people who can actually recognize and say, wait a minute, these feelings I'm feeling have nothing to do with them. We can choose to be inspired or envious, one of the two. And unfortunately, most people, and I hate to say that, but it is the truth, that it is very rare for people to have the ability to self-reflect, to take accountability for their actions, for where they are in life, for how they feel, for what they're doing, and then change something. It is so much easier for people to point their fingers outward, all right, whether it's to point out somebody else's flaws, to take attention off of theirs, or to justify themselves, like, oh, look at what that person does, that's why I could blah 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 blah, um so that rejection, Angie, that you are very familiar with. Let's see. She said they want to be leaders, Lysing. Can't fake the funk. Jot that down. Can't fake the funk. She said, I don't know, Angie, if I ever told you this, but when I started going to school, I was Dr. DeWitt's, aka Funky Fresh. I swear to God, that was almost like 10 years ago. Can't fake the funk. You can't. And when people can't fake the funk, they'll hate you for it. And one thing too that I have found, Angie, from some of the people that not only copied me, took from me, and then despised me for it, is people can feel the difference. They're like, just like the woman who I poured so much into, who stabbed me in the chest and ripped my heart out. People can feel that. You know what I mean? I don't even have to say names. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to expose that, because people expose themselves. And that is something I've really learned in my 30s. In my 20s, oh God, I was so ready. And even now, just like the other day when I found out that those things were being whispered behind my back in the house of the Lord, I wanted to burn it down, because I would never do that to anybody. I would never do that. I wouldn't hurt people like that, especially when somebody comes to me with their heart wide open and loving me, and then I shit on them for what? Nope. But what I have learned is A, God's got me. I don't have to do anything. But also B is to honor my emotions. I allowed myself to be angry. I still allow myself to be angry. I am a human being, and I am not going to pretend like I don't have feelings. I'm not going to pretend that when somebody hurts me that I'm not hurt. No. And if me experiencing my emotions and expressing them and wanting to talk about it makes people uncomfortable, then they're not for me. Most people are taking the things that make them uncomfortable or that they might be ashamed of and sweeping them under the rug and closing the door on it. All right. And that is why they're sick. That's why they're riddled in anxiety, fear, stomach ulcers, cancers, tumors, because they don't address things that make them uncomfortable. Me? Oh no, I'm going to do it. And I know people were uncomfortable the other day when I was like, hey, I am angry. And then I even reached out to the person because they didn't have enough respect to reach out to me from the get-go. And guess what? They were dishonest. And I could have sat there and argued back and forth, but I didn't. I said, hey, you're being dishonest right now, and that speaks volumes. That's between you and God. And I got to get my peace out. I did my peace doesn't come from arguing back and forth and making sure that person understands where I'm coming from and that they agree with me. Nope. I express myself to the best of my ability. I am very good at expressing myself. And then that's it. I'm not there to convince that person that what they said was right or wrong or blah, 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 blah. Hey, your actions really hurt me. I don't think that was right. And if you ever need anything, I'll still be here for you. And of course, it was met with anything other than accountability. And that's okay. One of the biggest aspects of being authentic, truly embodying authenticity and living in that frequency, is you don't need external validation. That doesn't mean that you're completely unbothered. If you're a human being, you're still going to be bothered when people throw darts at you because that stuff hurts. All right. But you process that. You accept that. You're real with yourself. Hey, I'm angry right now. I'm not going to stuff this down or tell myself not to be angry. No, I'm angry. And I'm going to love myself through this anger. And man, something God does for me, and I don't know why, but I'm so grateful. Like through that time, all last week, I had just some of my very best friends come over to the house. Some completely unplanned, and they just come over. God surrounds me with so much love with the animals and my friends and the work that I get to do, and people who believe in my medicine, who know the love and energy that I pour into it, and are so grateful to receive it, that there's no way I'm going to bring myself down or beat myself up over one individual who does not even love themselves trying to throw shade on me. It has nothing to do with me. I don't need them to like my medicine. I don't need them to know that I'm not a witch. And at the same time, I'm going to say, hey, your words are hurtful. That's not cool. Peace out. And like I said, anybody who has hurt me, I would be one of the first people to run into a fire, all right, a building burning down if I knew that they were trapped in there, no matter what they did, because that's who I am. But if I see you on the street and you try to approach me and say, what's up, or blah, 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 nope, I got to go. I've got nothing for you. Wish you the best. Holla if you need help. Better be an emergency. Other than that, this year, 2026, my saying, and I don't care, I'm not love and light. All right, I am everything and I am nothing at all. This year, it's fuck them. They don't like you, fuck them. They don't want to be with you, fuck them. They got bad things to say about you, fuck them. Oh, no, you said a bad word, fuck them. Let me know if you need a kidney. I might need a kidney, Angie. No, I take that back. My kidneys are so strong. So, but that's good to know. Do you even have an extra one to give? Didn't you already give your kidney away? I think you need yours, right? Do you need a kidney? I'd give you my kidney. I don't know how good it would be, but I'd give you my kidney. I told someone that. Oh. But do you have both your kidneys? Maybe it was my friend Natalie that gave her kidney away. I know somebody that donated like part of or their whole kidney. So you definitely just brought that up. But I love that. I'm going to say that. Let me know if you need a kidney. One would think, but no, I got some mine. Yeah, I would be surprised if you did give your kidney away. But that's good. Hold on to those. I don't know. There are some people that if they were like, yo, can I get a kidney? I'd be like, no, sorry. I need that. But like I said, if they were on fire, I would do everything I could to put them out. If they were trapped somewhere, I would do everything I could to get them out. And that is what God keeps reminding me of. These people, when they come at us, when they come at you, when they reject you, attack you, accuse you, spread lies about you, it has nothing to do with you and everything to do with them. Because people who are whole in themselves, people who feel good and love themselves, they don't have the capacity in them to be nasty to other people. They don't. So that's what I remind myself. And when people are nasty or they got something to say or they don't like me and they don't even know me, I pray for them. They must be suffering. They must be in a lot of pain to harbor so much anger, resentment, animosity towards someone that they don't even know, or towards somebody that would go above and beyond to be there for them. Angie said I had to tell my sister that so she could understand the level of leave me the F alone with that. Yeah. And it really is like that. It really is. I'm going to send you some songs when I get off here, Angie, that I think you'll like. One's from Anthony Q. It's called Prestige Fake Shit. And I love it. I love it. And I think I'm going to wrap it up here because I have a consultation shortly. But just being authentic is very rare in this world. Being authentic is a very rare thing. All right. And because of that, because authenticity is so rare, most people don't have an understanding for it. It's very weird. They've never witnessed it before. So when they are witnessing it, it makes them uncomfortable. All right. So being authentic, being real in a fake world can feel lonely sometimes, but if you do the work, you take care of yourself, you will get through that. Go outside, drink some water under the sun with your feet in the dirt and pray to God. And when I tell you one last thing, this was a big one, Angie, that I really just discovered. And I get, especially with like the Bible and these doctrines, when you ask God to talk to you and reveal something to you, he's going to. If you say, hey, God, I'm going to open up this book, and I believe with my whole heart, you're going to show me something that I need to see in this book. You open it up and it will be there. But it doesn't have to be that book. All right. Hey, for me, it's, hey, God, I'm looking for some answers. And he sends an animal or something in the natural world my way to help me. Or yesterday, I said, God, I'm going to read from the Book of Mormon. I said, God, I'm going to open this book. Tell me if there's something in here for me. And I swear to you, this got me out of the Book of Mormon. It said, yeah, had it not been for the war which broke out among ourselves. Yeah, were it not for these king men who caused so much bloodshed among ourselves. Yeah, at the time we were contending among ourselves. If we had united our strength as we hitherto have done, yeah, it not been for the desire of power and authority which those king men had over us. Had they been true to the cause of our freedom and united with us and gone forth against our enemies instead of taking up their swords against us, which was the cause of so much bloodshed among ourselves. If we had gone forth against them in the strength of the Lord, we should have dispersed our enemies, for it would have been done according to the fulfilling of his word. This goes on, but I want to, like, how crazy is that? Especially with Christians, with people who claim to love Jesus, but yet we're all fighting each other over what's the right way to love him, what he said, how we're supposed to behave. Meanwhile, the devil is pillaging this earth. But we're all too busy pointing fingers at each other instead of doing the one thing that Christ Jesus told us to do, which is to go out and love, and the devil wouldn't be winning. But now listen, it goes on. But behold, now the Lamanites are coming upon us, taking possession of our lands, and they are murdering our people with the sword, our women and our children, and also carrying them away captive, causing them that they should suffer all manner of afflictions. And this because of the great wickedness of those who are seeking for power and authority, even those king men. And we're watching that happen right now. We are watching the government come in and take men, women, and children. And all right. And it is mostly the Christian communities, there are people that claim to be Christians cheering this on. But why should I say much concerning this matter? For we know not, but ye yourselves are seeking for authority. We know not what ye are also traitors to your country. Yeah. Those of you who claim to have that love of Christ in your heart, but you're just sitting back doing nothing while strangers, the people that Jesus told us to love, are being carried away by the enemy. So then on another one, this last one. Will ye sit in idleness while ye are surrounded with thousands of those and tens of thousands who do also sit in idleness, while there are thousands round about in the borders of the land who are falling by the sword, wounded and bleeding? Will ye sit in idleness while ye are surrounded with thousands of those and tens of thousands who do also sit in idleness, while there are thousands round about in the borders of the land who are falling by the sword, wounded and bleeding? So yeah, my war cry is that people who claim to be disciples of Jesus Christ, they stand up and they fight for what is right. He said to love God with all of your heart and to love your neighbor as you loved yourself. He was a foreigner in a foreign land that accepted him. But yet here we are just watching as these foreigners are swept up, beaten, kidnapped, going missing, mistreated. I have had people approach me and my family in public and come up to our face and say, hey, you know they're sending them back now, right? You would not believe some of the outright disrespect we have experienced, and that is just the tiniest little minuscule level of what is going on out there. Wow. Everybody else gathers around in their buildings every Sunday and puts their money in a basket and gets talked at by a man who doesn't dare to be questioned. I'll be out there. All right, maybe I'll see you.